Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Phantasm Star, and today we will be discussing the final chapters of Berserk. With me, as always, is my co-host Biss.
Good evening.
I guess, well, right now it's morning for me right now, but yes, good morning, good evening. Um, yeah, so you finally caught up and finished. I'm not gonna say finished. Finished question mark Berserk.
I mean, for now, I finished it because, like, honestly, if you think about it, like, we don't know if it's finished technically, because like,
Yeah,
there's a chance they will continue it, but also like, we aren't sure about it. We are not sure about the future of Berserk.
yeah, like that's still to be determined, which I can appreciate. But although I think, and we'll talk about this at the end. It it will like Kintaro's like Kintaro will be missed
Naturally,
for what he was able to accomplish during his time creating the series, which I know I can appreciate. I know like a lot of people can appreciate.
naturally. I mean, a lot of the panels in Berserk are like some of the Eclipse panels in the manga are like amazing.
Yeah,
So
but again, we will talk about that, and we'll talk about that at the end of the series, at the end of the either end of this episode, or maybe we'll talk about it maybe like in a future episode. Um,
mhm.
but we will see we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll spend an extra a little bit longer talking about it. But yeah, so let's get right into the story because I know that there's a lot to unpack, especially where we left off last week, which I still absolutely love. Um,
So they begin by so when they arrive out on the island, they encounter those strange stones, which I really found interesting. Which are those stones are meant to mislead. Like now that those stones were put recently there by the witches and by the island, because after the whole impact on the world, with the whole world tree that Griffith did, the Ulster world basically.
yeah,
They place it there because like now that like both the astral world and the normal world are of merged, normal people can enter there, just normally. So they
yeah,
put those stones there to basically, if humans come there, they will get misled by it.
yeah. So they eventually so yeah, the astral world and the mythical world and the human world end up, converging together, and that's creating a society. Griffith the Scuttler creates this kingdom, which I absolutely love. I would say like those 5 chapters were the highlights of last week because I loved how like the whole idea of like this boat arc was entirely like the sea god thing was like kind of like a side thing, while the main point was like to catch up on other characters like Rickett
Hmm.
and Griffith.
And
So
Farnes also.
and
I feel like
Farnes.
the Seagood arc was mostly also a means to enforce how much Farnes learned being together with Sekire.
Yeah. So I feel like that was a lot of like, yeah, although like I would say like Guts had his moments when he was, especially at like the final chapter before we cut to Rickett, about his like question of like what would happen with Casca after,
Mm.
which we will talk about in a little bit. But yeah, let's get right into. So yeah, they eventually reach the island, and immediately I believe that they're attacked by like pumpkins.
They're attacked by the scare
Yeah,
the
scarecrow.
scarecrow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
scarecrow golems, kind of similar to like what Sekiro
Sekire. Yeah,
teacher taught them. So,
yeah.
but I think that like it wasn't really like I don't think that they were very prepared for this island because again they never this is a very secluded island that not many people go to because this is like Narnia compared to the human world.
It is. It's the scene where when they so after after they enter there, and get no those golems type attack them. After they destroyed them, and Sekira helped them with a spell. Another witch, which I don't remember the name, the
Mm-hmm.
one who flies, the Betty one. How's she called again? Basically, she she arrives there with a bigger column put on fire,
Yeah.
and because it's on fire, it's slowly destroying the surroundings. So naturally, like after she did that, not naturally, Gus destroys it, but like because it's on fire, this fire is spreading. So after that, like one of the grannies, one of the bosses, the one who like oversee everything there on the island, like arrives and dispels the fire, something like that. And
Yeah, I can. I know what you're talking about. Like, I can appreciate also the whole like Wicker Man like reference and all that. It was interesting. But yeah, like he like it wasn't like a very. It was a very anticlimactic. There wasn't really anything special. I think it was just more like to introduce her powers, which was actually a really cool power
yeah,
because it's like you like I don't know. They were definitely interesting more golems because like again a lot of things about this island is that they have like really powerful like magicians and wizards on here. Like because again this is very secluded where only like yeah mythical and only mythical people end up going. So like
yeah.
so yeah they're introduced to I believe it was a very powerful wizard. I forget her name but they're all easily welcomed. Um, but
I
yeah,
mean, they were not really easily welcome, because like you have no the elf queen or king saw like up an oracle like that they were arriving on the island. But not just that, see Sekira, which basically a witch. You have Guts and Casca, which can be like seen by their souls, so like they have something special about it. You have both Puck and the other elf, which normally you don't see them anywhere else. So kind of obvious they are something special. You have the mental city Pico, which is in, the what was she called again? The master of Sekirei gave it to him, or Sekirei. So
yeah, yeah.
also. You have Wumor. You have the Marrow girl,
Gizmo, yeah.
ASMR, which So basically, I mean, it's kind of obvious they're not they're not your usual humans.
Well, yeah, like this is primarily like this is again a great place for a lot of characters, especially Farnes and Sakurai, Guts, Casca can actually like develop their abilities, especially for like Farnes, because if she wants to become like a witch, this is probably like or a magic user, she has the opportunity to. So yeah, so they're eventually taken into the village where they witness like the giant cherry blossom, where it's kind of like their capital or whatever. Um, and then yeah, we're immediately introduced to like all the mythical creatures and everything, and we're introduced to the I think it was the was it the elf queen or
Elf Queen.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was the head witch.
No, no, it
Um,
was the Elf Queen, right?
I'm trying to look it up right now.
Wait, what do you mean? Let me check. Which character? Which character do you mean?
I'm looking for the chapter right now. Um,
Um, mm, mm, mm. The Millennium Falcon. Elfheim.
yeah, no.
Um,
Sorry. It was like the head, like Secretary Storm Monarch. No, yeah, the Flower Storm Monarch.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. the Flower Star Monarch. Yeah, she didn't she have a name?
Uh, real name Danan.
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 Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so they're introduced to her and form guts of the great astral world, kind of like to explain about like how the both the mythical and the human world work together. So it's like almost like a plane of sorts. So like when Griffith, they talk about how when Griffith, you know, committed that they were able to he was able to combine both the worlds together. So
Yeah.
um so yeah, Danan is basically the ruler of the elves. So she's kind of like the queen of the of Elfheim. So
I
yeah.
mean, she is. It's not like it seems like she is the queen.
Yeah, she is. She is. But
Yeah.
yeah, so they eventually decide that what they're going to do is they're going to help Guts enter Casca's dreams, but the only people that can do it are like witches because they have like the ability to perform go through clairvoyance or whatever it's called
Yeah.
to enter her dreams. So they end up so Sekirei and Farnes decide to go by themselves into Casca's memories. So I found now this is the part I actually love because I think this is like really where they both like I wouldn't say like throughout the series they've been like they've definitely had like huge parts, but now it's like they've this is like when they become really great characters.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Farnes was already a great character.
Oh yeah.
It's just like after Casca, woke up again, and she actually remembered what happened. No, not entirely, but like she
Oh, we'll get to that.
thought.
We'll get to that later. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, but like I'm just saying, like Farnes, even before this, like with this arc, it just like enforces how much how much she progressed. From Casca's reaction to her, like you clearly see like she even called her like later on when we get to do it like basically Farnes is just basically a great character even
Yeah,
before this.
yeah. So they end up going to dreams, and I feel like this is when Kentaro Hero was really having fun with the whole idea. Like before they ended up going into like Casa's memory, I really liked the whole like how before they went to Casca's memories, they like Sekirei was having like her dreams about like her perspective on everything. Like she only saw like Isardo as a monkey.
Very-
Oh
Yeah.
okay. Um. Yeah. So they like in her dreams, she only saw like Sardo as a monkey, and then yeah, he had Sekirei, who's putting up more of the what was it, the big sister role, and actually the whole thing with like I don't know. I found it very interesting. But yeah, so they eventually find each other and they decide to convert, like, decide to enter Casca's memories. And you could already see like how damaged her psyche is because of like her like memories of how she pictures everybody.
It is. I mean, it's fucking. I mean, guts. When they arrived at the dock in the Tom, and it was just like surprising. And Furness and Sekide going through like everything to repair Casca, soul basically, because like basically, it's, what they're trying to do is basically repairing her soul. You know,
Yeah.
um,
So like I found it interesting where it's like you have like such great art and then like you go from like um One Punch Man manga to like the one's drawings. So I found that like I love the that part. So yeah, they end up joining Casca and her image to her memories. And now I love these chapters. I think some these are some of the strongest chapters, or not strongest, but like some of the very biggest highlights. I would say these some of these chapters are easily my top 10 in this
I
series.
think I think honestly this arc is my favorite arc in all of Berserk.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. There's a lot,
It's so
and
so great. It's the same as the reverie in One Piece. Like the arcs where the arcs which give the most lore and the most content in a story are for me usually the best ones. For example, this one in Berserk. It's just like it gives so much. Not even that, but like you have some interactions in this arc which like are amazing. Which give more context about a lot of the characters in the story.
yeah, exactly. Like I feel like there wasn't a lot of well, for what they were trying to do, there wasn't a lot of mystery involved. Like it was just straightforward, but
But
I
like
felt like
the best part is the ending of the arc.
yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So yeah, so they end up going to like this plain area, and all they see is like basically the eclipse. So it's like I'm pretty sure what like again, this is what is inside Casca's memories, and this is what she remembers the most before like what happened after the eclipse. So
Yeah.
they end up traveling together, and then they see like a black dog, and I love this scene because it's like this is what like see a black dog with like one of its hand or feet missing, and again, this is Casca's memory. So this is what Casca thinks of when she imagines guts. How did you feel about that?
I mean, it's kind of dark, but like it's makes sense, because like even though she like no, she doesn't remember a lot about what happened in the eclipse. It's like she still like saw through a foggy vision what happened like in the previous arcs. So like seeing guts without an arm and having the dog also without a leg, it makes sense because like even though she like in the eclipse arc, um in the eclipse she before the eclipse he still had his arm, but like after it he hadn't, he lost his arm in the eclipse. So like it makes sense why she would have guts without a leg in her dream, you know
Yeah,
even though she didn't experience or she didn't see him losing it.
yeah. So they end up, you know, obviously, like we all know that it's supposed to be guts, and I believe that the whole spikes is like him carrying the coffin represents the band the hawk, and obviously the guilt he feels,
Yeah, the regrets he feels.
the regret, and then like obviously like the sticks in his back is supposed to represent the feeling of like I don't like I would say not tiredness, but like him going on his journey, he's suffered a lot.
Or
So
not just that, also like it's like a something like the brand he has from Griffith, the whole symbol.
yeah,
It's like something like you will always like be followed, and demons will always be after you, something like that.
yeah. So I always love that representation of like Guts being a black dog. I always love that whole idea. But yeah, so they end up saving Sekirei and Farnes end up saving the dog, and they end up helping him out in his journey to um bring. So yeah, they open up the coffin. It's revealed to be Casca, but like in their shattered memory.
Yeah, and then you see a mini Casca, which is was really cute.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But that's like the rest is basically her what's left of her personality. So like again, she obviously this is what they met. Like this is her, man. This is like what's left of her, and you know
True.
she it's a good question of being like whether or not Casca like is being forced on this journey or if you know she's okay with it. I don't like who knows. But
Yeah.
yeah, so they continue on their journey, and then they witness more and more about like what her memories of what happened before the she lost her memories. So yeah, they witness all sorts of different things from you know the eclipse to where they are right now, all sorts of different things. They even had like and as they continue to build more and more of Casca's you know shattered ego, like shattered self together. So I found that really interesting.
Indeed. What more? After like at the end, then I also found it funny or interesting that like her depiction of Griffith is like a black hawk.
Yeah,
So
because
is it not like the white hawk or the white falcon is the black one? And I'm like, that's interesting because like uh I think like that's an instinct memory, I guess, from when what happened in Eclipse when he became the one of the five goddess.
yeah, so like again, it's she still has the same image of Griffith as being a hawk, but this time it's depicted more as a Black Hawk. So that again, that begs the question of whether or not that is um, whether or not that is a depiction of that's her last memories of him. Like, there's a lot of questions because throughout everything, they had like Sekirei and Furnace kind of had highlights before the events of before they joined Guts. They got to learn a little bit more about like her perspective on everything. So I found that really interesting. Like so many different things from their first interaction to um you know, Guts fighting the 100 Men, plus which I still love that scene, man. I love that scene. Um, and then yeah, they eventually pick up all the pieces that were left behind, and they witness obviously the eclipse scene, which kind of messed up, but
It is, and I also saw what another really dark part of the like the dream sequence is when they discover why her soul was broken. Actually, what Griffith did to her. So like when they arrived there, like it, it's like so horrible.
yeah, and then like I was gonna say that Sekirei. So as soon as they're about to reach the end, Sekirei's master reappears in her actual form, which I really found really cool. Um, and yeah, they ended up, and then yeah, obviously the fetus and everything. There's like a lot of stuff to unpack in these like chapters, which I absolutely loved. But yeah, eventually they gather all the pieces together, and after 20 years, what? No, not 20 years, 30 years, man, almost 30 years, they finally Casca finally is revived, like, or
I mean,
she gains all of her memories.
her soul gets healed, I will say, or gets revived. Her soul, because like her she no she still has her body. It's mainly her soul.
How did you feel about that? Because, dude, when that happened, literally the internet broke. Because,
Really?
yeah,
Oh
because
damn.
people have been waiting a long time for this. Because remember, this was like a
I mean,
long, long time coming.
I think that's mainly because people liked Casca. I don't really,
Dude,
you know.
I love Casca. She's
I
such a. How
I
the.
mean, I don't. It's just like whatever, they're better characters than Casca. I mean, I'm happy for her that she got her soul back and everything else. But like, it's like cool. That's nice.
I can't
I
talk to
have to be
you.
honest.
I
I,
can't
I
talk. I can't talk to you. I can't talk to you.
look. I have to be honest, man. It's like I'm happy for her. Well, I'm happy for Guts. Like the same what Skull Knight said. Like she can't really see. guts, because like if she sees guts and talks about like the past, she will start remembering now the horrible things that happened to her.
Yeah, so like she eventually regains her memories, but she actually remembers brief. She says that she remembers like brief pieces of stuff. Like she said that like all I remember is rescuing Griffith, and then everything else was just like a blank slate. But she did remember some things because easily she remembered the names of like some of the characters, like Farnaz, Sekirei, and I always forget her name. Uh, Valerie or whatever. Eval, you know what I'm talking about, the elf girl,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
pixie girl.
I mean,
Um,
she tries to remember, but like when she tried to remember Jido, or I think, yeah, what's it called, Judo? No, the
judo,
one guy.
judo.
Yeah, the one like who like at the end of the eclipse, her she got like picked by the demons. Like she was trying to defend her, but like he died, and she when she mentioned the name, she remembered what happened to him and everything else. So that's, I think, that was the final blow.
Like I'm glad that she was able to regain her memory and like they were able to help her like realize what's been going on in the last couple of years since like the eclipse. So, but I think it was like it was all. I feel like that this was a very satisfying moment for the readers because a lot of people waited for this moment and it's very justifiable. But yeah, they end up. I love the outfit that Casca has. Like not gonna lie, she turned 10 times hotter. But um, yeah.
Oh
See,
damn it,
but
sister! Oh damn it! Every time.
listen. Guts may be like a man, and maybe like Casca's man, but like still. Anyway, yeah. So they eventually. So I was like surprised about what happened next, because when they eventually meet together, Casca immediately has like a flashback towards what happened, and
No.
her memories of like what happened kind of like hit really hard.
Mm-mm. Yeah, and so basically, like, she passed out because of that. But like after that, it switches to Griffith's side, and
Yeah.
them defeating Jesus, I can speak, the giants, I guess, and after it went to defeat them because like was a really short battle. I don't think anything. For now, we don't know anything that can beat Griffith. So it's just the usual. Griffith goes there and defeats them. But what I found interesting was they found a type of Stonehenge type of like place with different stones set up vertically,
Mm-hmm.
and they used some of the demons, well, some of the apostles to correct them and put them right. They lined them up together, and they basically, like, when they entered there with the army, they basically went through a portal kinda, and they immediately came back to Falconia. And I found it really interesting, like having those types of portal all over the Midland, kind of interesting.
Yeah, I found like in terms of the, I feel like that. Oh, in terms of the chapter itself, I do agree it was interesting. Kind of like gave us a little bit more to catch up on.
Yeah,
I do like the symbolism of like both of like the scene where all like they're finally defeat all the giants, and I believe they're giants.
yeah, they were giants.
When like like the scene of the apostles and the humans converging together after the battle. I felt like I don't know, it was a good scene. I felt like
Yeah, it was interesting. Another thing I wanted to what was the other thing? I forgot. There was something else about the whole thing
Are
with the
you on the phone with
Stonehenge.
somebody?
yeah. I was um yeah, I remember that scene because Actually, I would say I briefly remembered that chapter, to be honest, because it
There's a
was,
lot. Yeah.
yeah. But I feel like that again. There's a lot to unpack with all these chapters.
Mm.
Um, yeah. But anyway, let's continue with the story. I felt like
Let's
that,
return it.
although like I will say it was a nice touch for Sonya at the end because it was a nice. I don't know. I like that. It was a good
Sonya
chapter.
is Sonya's a good character. I like her because she and Griffith's relationship, and she's kind of jealous because of the princess. Um, yeah. Anything else about the Griffith side
Uh, good question. Good question.
besides Griffiths? Because Griffith, at the end of the of the latest chapter.
Well, like,
Because one thing, at the end of like the Griffith part, when you saw them fighting the giants, at the end of like of their part, you saw like Griffith going somewhere or something like that. Which we then know where he went at the end. Like it was interesting. It's like you know what? Let's talk about this at the end because like I think that's like a really big plot twist. I will say.
yeah. So we eventually get back to like both Guts and Casca, and
Yeah.
Casca is learning how is regaining her strength again, and learning how like gain a chance to learn to use a sword again, which I found really nice. But then after that, we find Sekirei and Varnes finding Guts behind the tree, because I think at the same point, like Guts was like, you know, I feel like Guts was going through a lot at the time, or because again he knew that something was going to happen once she regained her memory, but I
Yeah.
I think at the same point maybe he was prepared for it.
I, I mean, Skull Knight like warned him about is it truly what you wish or what she wants, But like it was mainly because mainly I think he mainly said it because he kind of knew like she her she's scared of she doesn't want to remember or like her remembering what happened in the eclipse is like really so do you say scary but also like horrifying so and Guts is like one of the people who were with her in the eclipse and seeing him is like remembering the most horrifying parts of her past
Yeah,
um so
absolutely.
I feel like I think that's the reason why Skull Knight warned him is because like look I don't think just like getting a memory back is a good thing, but like be warned, she won't be the same as previously because like she won't be able to see you, and her scars won't be easy to heal back. Kind of that type.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to the main part of the chapter, which is like Skull Knight's return. So
Love that. I loved seeing like Guts on the cliff and like him just thinking about things, and then Skynet coming there and be like, "Yo, bro."
so they end up deciding to, so yes, Farnes and decides to start taking up lessons with everybody, and Skull Knight decides. So while Guts is by himself over at the cliff, Skull Knight approaches him. Um, they were talking. What did they end up talking about?
You mean the Skull Knight thingy?
Yeah. So
They talk about just yeah the thing I said earlier about him warning him about Casca and Guts realizing why he warned him, why Scarlet warned Guts about a memory.
yeah,
But I think that's besides it because like after that, the one of the people who oversees the island came there, and she actually like no she had like this interaction with Scarlet about like she when she was young going with her father to him and and at this moment we know for 100% that the Skull Knight was the emperor of the old empire.
yeah. So we'll get that to that right now. So Guts and Skull Knight end up going to meet the creator of the Berserk armor. So in
Yeah.
here and like flashes of Godo um end up like coming together when he thinks of like Godo and this guy because Godo created the Dragon Slayer and
Berserk
this
armor.
guy created the Berserk armor.
Oh yeah, this guy. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. Wait. So wait, if this guy created the berserk armor, would that mean that he or Goto brought it to his house?
The Dragon Slayer?
No, the berserk armor. Because like, if you watch, if what you're saying is correct, if this guy in the island made the berserk armor,
Oh, he did.
yeah, how who actually how wait it,
How did it go from like the island all the way to?
wait, wasn't didn't the Scarlet once also have the berserk armor?
Well, that's the thing. That's my theory is that originally, or my theory was that um the Skull Knight was the former king of Midland,
I mean,
and
he was the emperor. He was the king of the old empire. But my question is like, if Scarlet had the armor in his previous life as a human, would it mean that like he basically there's a lot of things, a lot of questions I have about like how did the berserk armor arrive there? Like, if Scarlet had the berserk armor, would it mean that he left it off there? But like, how did he, like, at the end, like, he became a demon, but like, how is because like the armor made him a demon, like?
well, we'll find again. We're gonna find that out. We're gonna talk about that right now.
Yeah.
So, um, Guts ends up, or this guy, I forget the guy's name, but he ends up activating the Berserk armor, and we get a vision from Guts about and he has a vision about the past related to the previous owner of the armor, which is
Which is
we
School Knight.
yeah, because it's the previous owner's life to be consumed by the berserker.
Yeah.
So in the vision, now I want to ask you a question. What did you interpret from it? Because we get to see
His wife.
kind of the same thing that happened to Guts, which was something similar to happen to the previous owner, which he made a somebody made a deal with the previous God Hands, which I have to ask, what did you think about that? Because this these God Hands are different compared to the ones that we've known. So like
Aren't they the same? Because like,
no. Like we have Void. Void's the
yeah.
main one, and then we have like the other five, aren't which again is not um the ones that we know of. So we don't have Griffith in this one, but
Yeah,
this
but
is
the five gods we know, so Void, and the other ones,
Slain and all that. Yeah,
weren't they also in when he was the emperor, with when Skull Knight was the king?
no, no. So these are different ones. These are different ones.
Wait, how they did those ones die then?
Well, that's the question that I have to ask is like, uh, do all God hands change every couple of years, or like I see Void is still the same, but
Well,
like
that will be strange because like, if like you said, the five gods represent evil, so how will they die out, or how will they change if they were pure evil, if they were like a concept of evil, like, I will say, following this theory, I will say like they are more the actual villains than actually just evil, so they're something to beat, they can be beaten.
well maybe again they're replaceable because you see that's my biggest theory about like why the God hands chose Griffith, but yeah, so we end up creating. So we, as the vision goes on, we witness the previous user having the exact same experience as Guts did with somebody, and we don't like again we don't know who this person is, but like
I
obviously,
mean,
well,
kind of obvious. She like her looks. The one of the queen kind of looks like the queen of the islands of the Dan.
yeah, I can see that. I can see why she even has like the necklace on her that
Yeah.
looks exactly
So
like her. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But but I think at the same point, like the guy who's in the vision is obviously the king of a former king of like the empire that we talked about, and he was the previous owner of the um, berserk armor that ended up becoming Skull Knight. That's why Skull Knight wants to get revenge on the God Hand.
Yeah.
So that's my theory. So yeah,
If he wants to get, but he wants to get revenge on the five goddens or on the goddens because they are the goddens or because they're the same people who, you know, began the eclipse back then. Because if what you're saying is correct about like the goddens which we have now aren't the same as the one when he was the king, does that mean that he wants to put an end to like the god hands as a concept, or does he have a grudge against the people who are the god hands now?
I think he has a grudge more against Void because in both iterations, like in both the ones in the Vision and the current ones right now, I think the one that he hates the most is obviously Void.
So
Because
that means that the void was once a human, and this human caused, or maybe void was the one who became a god and back then, and he began the eclipse when he was a, when Scarlet was a king.
maybe he was similar to Griffith in a way. Who knows? 'Cause-
Hmm.
so there's a lot to unpack in the and
There's a
that's
there's
easy.
a
That is easily one of my favorite chapters.
like I'm gonna say this, but like there's so much unexplored things in Berserk. For example, we could have an entire arc going into the cushion territory and exploring that part. We could like have an entire like I feel like explored like a little part of the Berserk world because like I feel like there's so much more we could explore in it. You know?
Yeah. So eh, we'll get to that later, but yeah. So they end up. So Sekiro ends up using her magic to bring Guts back from his vision, and him and Skull Knight. So it's kind of like so they end up going to some like gravestone where Skull Knight visits the Don, and then obviously like again Guts remarks saying like they look similar, and obviously I think what this is kind of similar to like what Sekire's master was that she was using a temporary body, and then once that body was like destroyed, she entered like her actual form.
Dream state, kinda.
Yeah, something like that.
Hmm.
So, and then we find out that like why Sekire's master was sent to the human world because she committed a taboo, which I guess is related to what happened during the eclipse.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the rest of the chapter is basically like Sardo just fucking around with everybody, and then we finally get to the big reveal at the end of the chapter, which is the
Moonlight Kid is
the.
actually Griffith. He said
Okay,
that.
we'll
He
get
said.
to that. We'll get to that later. Yeah, so the Moonlight Kid, and then finally the final chapter. And I know that a lot of people, and like this was, and this I was surprised this came out to be honest, because I thought that that final chapter was like the final chapter, but this is the final chapter. So yeah, we end up. I actually, dude, I was so emotional this entire time because I was
Uh,
like, damn, bro, this is like so sad. Because
yeah.
now, I guess like we'll talk about the main point in the end of the chapter, which is revealed that the midnight boy. Oh, sorry about that. So the end of the chapter is revealed that it is actually Midnight Boy's Griffith. Now, what do you think is your theory on that?
I was shocked honestly. I didn't expect like I didn't expect it to be Griffiths.
I
Uh,
I was an either. I was an either.
I was so shocked. I because like I have to be honest. I woke up this morning and I was like, oh shit, I haven't read Berserk. let me read quickly. I mean, I didn't read it quickly because like I took my time to read it naturally. But like when I finished the chapter, when I finished the latest chapter, with Griffith's reveal, I was like, shit, oh shit, how am I gonna explain this to start? How am I gonna explain? Like what? I need more. Why? Where's chapter 200, 360, 65? What?
Yeah, I was not expecting that, to be honest, because I thought that like the kid was a, again. Don't forget that this. I my theory was that the kid was a representation of like Casca and Guts' child, but at the same point, like the fetus that Casca birthed was also ended up becoming um Griffith. So I think that, and then it was revealed that Griffith was actually like the kid. It was like it kind of does make sense. But yeah, like I love.
That's true.
I think that the so yeah. This was the last chapter that Kentaro Miura created before he died, and
Wait,
I
didn't he make another volume? Because like they announced a new volume for Berserk, and after that, it's when he finished.
I think so. I have no idea, but I will say, for what it is, um, I felt like it was a really good send off for all the characters, especially
Mm.
like all the like. I know there's a lot of questions a lot of people at want to get answered, but I feel like at the same point, it, I feel like that Kentaro Miura did a really good job with what he did.
I feel after this, I want to theorize a bit about like what could happen in the future. Bless you, if Berserk ever continues. Um, I feel like I don't know, cause like there's so many things there's so many directions that Berserk could go in. I feel
So
like yeah.
so let me ask you this. So I want before we ask the ultimate question. Actually, I know how you feel about this series. You love this series.
I mean, I like it a lot.
You like it or love it.
I mean, I mean, I've score wise, I would give this a 9. Manga wise,
Definitely not the anime. The anime sucks.
I mean, I'm not gonna watch anime, even though I don't have. I'm watching other animes. I began reading Berserk because like reading for me is faster than watching. But like I mean, I actually I really like love this. It's how do you explain? I want to make one. One day I'm gonna make like my favorite anime and manga list to see where Berserk falls in, because like I'm really curious how I feel like another series, another manga which I when I was reading Berserk, I had this other series which I frequently compared it to, which was just Villain Saga, because the art in Villain Saga is also amazing, and both Vinland Saga and Berserk have like a semi-realistic aspect to it.
Yeah,
So I wanna like compare like both Vinland Saga and Berserk to see like, okay, you know which one, like which aspects of both series do I like more, something like that. And just wanna make like a manga list, like my favorite manga.
but
No, but I really like Berserk. It's a
I
really good story.
again, Berserk was one of those is one of those series that like is once in a lifetime, because this series has been going on for like 30 years, and it reaches to like different generations. Like I loved I feel like that everything from the themes from like Guts and his struggles with life and fate and all that really resonates well with a lot of people. And that's why like when Kentaro Miura passed, I felt like everybody was respectful towards like him passing, because a lot of people get mad whenever like series just end. Like you look at, I don't know, like Bleach, that got like a lot of hate for the ending.
Mm.
Fairy Tale and then got a lot of hate. I feel like this ended on a right note. Whether or not it continues or not is up to you know
Interpretation. I mean, for it's up to like speculation if it continues. But like, I feel like when people said like the ending of Berserk is like it's like a good ending because like it's like it falls on a peaceful part of Berserk. Uh, I didn't think it was this.
yeah, like honestly, you think like um I felt like that in terms of in terms of what the main characters were trying to achieve. I feel like most of the characters achieved what they were trying to do. Like Costco regained her memories. Um, Griffith got his kingdom and found people in his life that actually care about him for who he is.
No.
So I feel like in terms of the main three, I feel like that a lot of characters got their um they got what they wanted from the very
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
But I guess like my main question is like, if you had to, if you were to, find out one thing about the series, like if one of the mysteries that has been looming throughout the series, which one would it be?
Ooh. Oh. Ooh. Let's see. Let me check. Let me check. Ooh, this is a difficult one. I still think about this because like
How about
there's
give me three, give me three.
okay. First of all is um what are the god ends? Like what's the concept behind the god ends? Who made them? You know, something like that.
Yeah,
My other will be how strong and like how like it is like is God able to conquer or master the armor in the future, something like that? Will he be like stronger than Zod one day, or or strong as School Knight? You know, because like one day, you know, if you think about like at the end he will fight against Griffith because like they're both like the main characters of the series. Griffith representing the evil side. So something like you have Skull Knight and you have Void and you have Griffith of you have Guts and Griffith. You know, something like that.
yeah,
Um, and my third question will be the moon.
yeah. Like I like the moon or the eclipse.
The moon.
The moon, the moon.
Every story has something about the moon.
Interesting. Because if I had to put my biggest rings, if I had to put my three biggest things, is obviously I want to learn about Zod and Skull Knight, because
Yeah.
I feel like those two are two of the most mysterious characters that have like the most relevance in the story. Because some people actually theorize that Zod is Guts' dad. Because if you actually think about it, like when Guts was born, he was born from a dead woman hanging. So I don't know. I feel like that there might have been related to one another. Who knows? But
Maybe Guts is a failed experiment done by the God Hands.
yeah, I mean the fact that like he was able to somewhat handle the berserk armor has something to do with that. Plus, like all like his feelings and whatnot towards like his rage and everything. So maybe like who knows? But uh obviously like the other question, I would say those would be one and two, and then I would say the third question is like what does the God Hand have, like what's the main objective of the God Hand?
What's
Because
the meaning behind the God Hands?
that and plus like what's the whole like idea of the God Hand and using Griffith's like Falconia, gathering up all these people in the same area together. So there's
I
a
mean, Guts said this in his in the chapter in one of the chapters. Like Griffith's goal isn't doesn't really stop. By him having his own country. His objective, his main goal is behind that. Is like he wants more than just that.
yeah. So But I guess there's like a lot of questions that a lot of people will. I feel like that. Um, there's a lot of questions, but I still feel satisfied. I felt really satisfied and sad at the end of the series
Yeah.
because, but yeah. Okay, so my final question is to you: is that like, if you were to give me actually my two final questions is, um, I want to hear what your ranks are for the different arcs.
Wanna do a tier list, mini tier list?
No, no, just name them off and just tell me.
Okay, okay. Let me real quickly get all the arcs. Um, I only also need to like see okay what happens again. Okay, you have so you have the Black Swordman arc, the Golden Age arc, the Conviction arc, the Millennium Falcon arc, and the Fantasia arc. Okay.
Yeah,
Which I need them in order. Which is the oldest one? The wait, let me see. Story arcs. Okay, story arcs. Okay. So okay, we have a lot of. Oh, you have a lot of.
just name them off by the five. Like,
Okay. So my top arc, my favorite arc. Okay, so my least favorite arc, is still good, but like it's not like the best. Is the first one, the Black Swordsman arc.
yeah,
It was like the beginning. It was introduction, nothing else. Then you have the Golden Age arc, which no, as good as it is, as good as people like praise it, is like it's nothing new. No, it's like nothing. It's nowhere near like the best arcs in Berserk, which is after the eclipse.
mm-hmm,
Then you have then you have the let's say you have I think then I would put like the conviction arc, which as good as it is you have other really good arcs after the conviction. Okay, so my first spot will be the Fantasia arc, which was the latest one.
yeah,
Then you have the Millennium Falcon. Then you have the Conviction arc, Golden Age, and the Black Swordsman. So basically, it's basically from the newest arc to the older one.
yeah. Okay, no, that seemed no. That's I feel like that. I still feel like that. Most every arc that, despite like the positive, like negatives, there's always like. I feel like that the negatives are weighed out by the positives because I feel like every arc has very much its own strengths that I absolutely love. But okay, so my final question is: what would be your top 10 characters in Berserk?
Oh, so
No, let's just do five. Let's do five.
okay, that's another question. Okay, let me see.
Obviously, guts.
So starting off, I wouldn't put Griffith in my top five because like I don't know much about Griffith. The only thing I know about Griffith is like there's something about him. There's something else besides him being evil or besides him no there's something else like there's nothing like it's not just his goal that he wants to reach. There's something else besides for him, I don't know what he wants, but like there's something else about him. So I'm not convinced enough to put him in my top five. I
Yeah,
believe there's something else, so that's why I'm not putting him in the top five. So my top one will be Guts. Naturally, my first place goes to Guts. I
yeah.
mean, kind of obvious. He's the best character in the series. Um, I think my second place will go to um you have Sekirei, which I really love as a character, but um mm, let me find like every character. Because like I need to see like every character in Berserk before I actually rank them. Because like there are some really good characters which sometimes I just forget their name. Um, maybe here. Um,
Okay, so let's look at it like this. My top five would easily be
Okay,
Guts.
I found it. I found it.
God
Found
damn it.
it. Let me finish. Let me finish mine quickly. Uh, Guts will be my first place. My
Yeah.
second place will go to Sekirei, naturally. My third place will go to I think that it's like something. But I like Farnes, but I don't know. There's something I think will be Skull Knight. Honestly,
Skull Knight.
yeah, I like Skull Knight. He's a Chad. I like him.
Oh yeah,
He's a
that is
bro.
fantastic.
Um, Another one will be uh, damn it. I, I, okay, quickly. Guts, Sekirei, Skull Knight, Zod, and the one guy who controls the ship.
Roderick.
Was yeah, yeah.
Really, Roderick. Interesting
I like
choice.
I really like him. I like the chat to the bros. The one who like help the main characters. Just I like him.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Interesting choice. But yeah, I'm glad you watched this series. It's definitely one of my, and I can say it again. It's one of my favorites because it knows exactly like it's. I feel like it's one of the lifetime opportunities to read, and I know a lot of people like have like their complaints against the series, but I feel like that those complaints are really outweighed by the positives of the series, which I absolutely love. Um, but I'm glad you read this. I'm glad you took the time to read it, and you know, it's definitely something I like. I can, in my opinion, I would read again, no matter what. But I'm glad you read this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, is there any last thoughts you want to say before we end it off this episode?
Well, everybody who watches this and hasn't read Berserk, what are you doing? Go read Berserk. First of all, second, I believe sometime, I think next year, I believe we may cover another manga or another series. We don't know. We will say this in the
Well,
future.
yeah, we'll talk about this
Yeah,
maybe next year.
later. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like we
yeah,
also have like another episode. When will this episode air?
probably this week.
And
Probably
and yeah,
before or after New Year's. We'll see what happens.
don't we also have another one? Other episode?
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. But
Okay, okay.
in the meantime, yes. So I'm happy you read this. I'm happy that we finally got a chance to. I was able to convert you because I know this is a long time coming.
Mm. It
But yeah,
was fun. It was fun adventure. Let me
yeah.
just say this.
I hope you read it again, and I hope that like you know, just saying that you're at least Berserk will be in your top 20.
Well, you will see about.
Anyway,
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to this episode. We really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. And yeah, I hope you will see you guys in the near future. We will be hopefully discussing more series that me and Biss and probably future people will come on here and talk about. But yeah, I hope you guys will have a wonderful day. Please make sure you like, subscribe, comment on this video, and until then, have yourself a great day. Bye.
Later.